Pump station is located just to the left of the third green, and it's at the junction of two creeks which enter the golf course, Rocky Waterholes Creek and Moolman Creek. Both of those creeks have a very large catchment area of the surrounding suburbs, and as a lot of members would be aware, during periods of just sudden thunderstorms or intense rainfall, the water levels do rise quite quickly due to that surrounding catchment. The other important points following the floods that the club has put in place is the ability for us now to remove our pump station should we need to in the event of another flood emergency. And quite important to do so for us because this panel alone here, which controls the pumps, is worth between $70,000 to $80,000. So it's a very important piece of infrastructure here on the course. Essentially what this does, it works by variable frequency drive. So anytime a sprinkler starts up out on the golf course, this panel here will actually sense that and recognise that, and then it will instruct the pump to start. And then based on how many sprinklers will start out there, or if the sprinklers or the golf course needs more water at a specific time, it will then increase the pump or bring on additional pumps as required. So we're able now to fully evacuate this unit. The systems that have been put in place include removable three-phase power on the side here, and also removable outlets around the back for power and pump control. And then we're able to fully take this unit out across our loading bay here and then have it on a trailer, on a tractor, and out to high ground in around 15 minutes. I was talking a little bit before about advances in technology and things like that. You'd all be very well aware that the advances as you look around your home right now are quite significant. From the television that you watch, the car you drive, to what you might be watching this on right now, whether it be an iPad or one of the smartphones. So in that sense, technology and advances in everything that goes on has been quite significant. But what about the grass that we play golf on? And this is one of the areas that we're trying in recent times, in recent months. You would have noticed the new advances in turf grass that is available now for golf course use. And the one that we're trying here on green 21 is a new greens grass variety, and this is called Champion. Now the greens that we play golf on at the moment are the 328, or formerly known as Tiff Green. The grass was released in 1955, and I'm sure there's not too many things around your home at the moment which are still from 1955. So what we're working on is a new grass. We're looking towards the future of the golf club here, with a view in mind that we might go ahead and replace the putting surfaces out here to really improve the standards and improve your golfing experience. This particular grass was released in the late 1990s. It's very commonly used now at a lot of golf clubs throughout the southern United States. A lot of those golf courses have been suffering in recent years with an increase in summer temperatures, and their bent grass greens that have been growing out there really suffered in that heat. So a lot of research has gone on, and this is one of the new grasses available on the market now for golf course use. Champion, as I said, there are other varieties out as well. One's called Tiff Eagle, that's used at a couple of clubs around the south here. One of these two sort of varieties is one of the grasses that we'll be looking towards for the future of the Brisbane Golf Club. If we look at it a little bit more closely, what we'll see on the greens, particularly when we look at it close up, is an increase in density. And what the grass, primarily at the moment, we overseed our greens, 3-to-8 with Poa trivialis. And what the Poa is doing, it's increasing the density in any given area. So whether it be a square centimetre or 10 square centimetres or a square metre, by putting the Poa trivialis on there, we're able to increase the volume of grass within that area, which tends to make it a lot more upright, and then you get a better ball roll. And so the older style grasses like the 3-to-8, they tend to be a little bit more coarser. They tend to lay a little bit more flat. So issues such as grain start to come into your putting. With the new grasses like this, the Champion and Tiff Eagle, These two have a much higher sort of shoot density, and the shoot density there, as you can see, it's greatly increased on 3 to 8, and as a result you get a much finer ball roll. So this green will be ready for play probably sometime in the next couple of weeks. I look forward to you trying it, and I look forward to your feedback on it. We're really observing quite a few things with the Champion out here at the moment, so it's very important that we get a very good idea of how the grass reacts in our climate and our environment before we start saying, well, this is going to be the right sort of grass for us. What we're seeing, and I'm sure you've noticed as well, is a few things with it. It retains its colour very well through winter, but it would be fair to say that the winter here in 2012 so far has been quite mild. The second thing that we're noticing with it, it's pretty well, very easy to manage. It doesn't require a great deal of input into it. We're mowing this every time we mow. We double cut it. It's growing quite well. It grows well on the slopes, things like that. So the plan will be probably sometime later this year in the spring to go out, perhaps do another green with it, in a different sort of microclimate. We look around us now. We're in 21 here. It's very open. It's very sunny. But we need to see how it goes, say, in a very sheltered location on one of our other greens. One of the other grasses that we're trying out here on the golf course is this one. It's called Zoysia. Zoysia is native to Southeast Asia. It's a wonderful grass. I'm very fond of it personally and professionally. And it's one grass that I'd like to see a little bit more use of here at the club. We've used it to start with here on the 3 new holes, 14, 15, 16, as a barrier in between the coarser wintergreen on the surrounds and the finer 3 to 8, as a barrier to stop that encroachment coming in, and it seems to be working quite well. More so though, the importance of the Zoysia on here, it's a much more lower maintenance grass. For instance, we look at it first and we see the more naturally sort of dark green colour to start with. It has a greater density level, and it's much more immune to pest attacks because it has a very sort of high level of silica within the leaf. So as far as the use here on the golf course, I'd like to see it extended out into the surrounds and then eventually down fairways. So what that'll mean for us is a series of fairways and surrounds that have to be fertilised less, cut less, sprayed less, and gives you a better surface. And some of the other benefits that we're seeing throughout it as well, as you might notice around the golf course, particularly on these 3 new greens, is that it's not affected in winter by spring dead spot, and that's these little patches that you see around the edge of these 3 new holes. Well, thanks for watching. We hope you've enjoyed a little bit of behind the scenes look and some of the work that's happening out here on the golf course. We look forward to seeing you out here the next time you're out.